So today I want to talk about a question that I ask myself multiple times a day for years. Is this anxiety or is this a heart problem? All right. So do me a huge favor. If you have cardiophobia, otherwise known as heart anxiety, if you're wondering if these symptoms are anxiety or a heart problem and you struggle with this, please hit like on this video so we can get this message out to other people. And also hit subscribe because I have tons of videos on anxiety and a lot of videos on anxiety-related chest pain and anxiety-related heart symptoms and things like that. So check that out. Now, quick disclaimer, guys, you need to see a doctor initially. I state that throughout this whole entire video. You need to see a doctor. You need to get that testing that you deserve. You need to see some specialists before you can move on with acceptance. It's better to be safe than sorry. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what your symptoms are. I don't know how severe they are. And I'm not here to diagnose you with this video. It's just to share my story, my experience with this, and to help you not make the same mistakes that I made. If this is in fact an anxiety issue, I was able to recover from this. So this is just a video meant to help people that are dealing with heart anxiety that have been told that they are healthy and have been checked out multiple times. So this all started with my first panic attack. I was laying there and out of nowhere, I started to notice my heart was beating very, very quickly. Now, mind you, I had been partying for a couple days before this. I was just really, really dehydrated. So I think my heart was beating faster than normal. So I noticed this, and the more I put focus on it, it would go faster and faster and harder. And then the adrenaline hit. I remember feeling it pump out into my stomach. And then I felt it go throughout my whole entire body. It was like a buzzing sensation. I remember I shot up really, really quickly. My chest instantly started to tighten up. My heart was palpitating. My mind started to race. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to die. I feel like I'm about to die. I think my heart's about to explode. So I had this impending doom. I thought that I was dying. Then the numbness came, the tingling, shooting pains, particularly on my left side. So what do? I jump over on my computer. I type this stuff into Google and it tells me that I'm having a heart attack at the age of 20 years old. I call my mom, I tell her something's going on. I think I'm dying. Like, you gotta hurry and come over. So she comes over, she gets me, she checks my vitals. She's a nurse. She tells me, look, it's been hours that you've been dealing with this. You're young, you don't have any risk factors. If this was a heart attack, something probably would have already happened. You know, you would have probably stopped breathing or you'd be extremely short of breath. You wouldn't be here talking to me right now. So I was like, okay. I had a massive panic attack. All right, that's scary. Wow, I can't believe that happened. I'm happy that I'm alive. So I thought that that would be the end of it. But this is where it gets really, really difficult. We have that fear embedded in our subconscious now. And now we continue to exhibit symptoms after. So I then started to get chest pain again later that day. And then I started to think, like, no, if that was an anxiety attack or panic attack, I wouldn't have this chest pain still, or this chest pain coming up again or arising or intensifying again. So then I went into panic again. And I'm here to tell you guys, for the next 2 to 2.5 years, give or take a month or so, I would repeat this process multiple times a day. Multiple panic attacks that I thought were heart attacks. So that's how it started. So after a couple months of waiting, I finally gained the courage, and yes, I said courage because I wasn't one of those in the beginning that ran to the doctor when I felt this way. I was one of those that was scared to go to the doctor to get told that there was something wrong with my heart. So quick little red flag right there. I want you to learn from this video because I'm here to help you through this process so you don't make the same mistakes as me. If you got to get an ambulance even to come pick you up that first time, then, or the second or third time, do it. You deserve that reassurance and you deserve the quick reassurance. I waited 2 months to get the courage to make a doctor's appointment to get my first EKG. That's terrible for your subconscious. So for these couple of months, these symptoms have been building and building, and I've been putting so much negative energy and focus into them, and I continued to Google. Google is another thing. You stop relying on Dr. Google right now for your heart symptoms. You make an appointment or you go to the ER. If you feel like you need to call an ambulance that first time, do it. Your life is worth it and you deserve that reassurance. So many people like myself wait months and months to go get the reassurance that they deserve, to get that proof or to get that reassurance. And by the time you go to get that reassurance, like in my case, the symptoms are so deeply rooted within you that even when you're told by a doctor that you're healthy and that you're fine, the symptoms continue. The symptoms continue. And guess what happens next? I went to my first doctor's appointment. I got told that I was fine. Thank you, God. I go home. The chest pain happens again, and I'm thinking, wait a second. If the doctor told me that there was nothing wrong with my heart based off of this EKG and that I was too young, I didn't have the risk factors, and that I was fine, why is the chest pain happening again? Oh my God, he missed something. So now what am I doing? I'm Googling misdiagnosis. How common is it? It's not super common for somebody my age, but I think I'm that tiny statistic. See, I'm already wired to negativity and fear. I have a problem with catastrophizing. Obviously, that's why I had a panic attack in the beginning. So now it's translating to distrust and disbelief of the doctors and the testing that I was receiving. So now we'll call this next phase focus. I was super focused. And when you're super focused, your body becomes extremely sensitive to everything going on within it. Okay? In this case, it was primarily my heart. I was so focused on my heart rate. Is it too fast? Is it too slow? You know, if it was normal, I was like, well, when is it going to speed up again? You know, I was never happy. What's my blood pressure like? Is it too high? Is it too low? Am I going to have heart failure? Is it too high? I'm going to have a heart attack. If it was normal, I wasn't satisfied. When is it going to get high again? Where's my chest pain? Is it on the left, the right, the top, the bottom? Is it in the freaking middle? Oh my God, that's where my heart is. I was focused on that. Is my left arm tingly or numb? Am I getting pain down it? And I'm telling you, the more that you focus, you can actually control where the pain is, believe it or not. I believe that I focused so much pain on my left side. I didn't have a heart problem. But I knew after Googling that the left side was associated with heart attacks most of the time. So guess where my pain ended up all the freaking time? On this side. Primarily my chest pain would be the left side in the middle. I had it everywhere. But I think also because I knew that that's where it was supposed to be for a heart problem, that's where I focused that energy. And therefore that's where most of my pain was. To quickly explain the pain, I would have dull pain that would kind of come in and go out. I would have constant pain where it was relentless for weeks. I would have crushing pain. You type that in, it says heart attack. I would have radiating where it would start here and move to other areas of my body. I would have shooting pains, sharp pains whenever I would breathe, which is indicative of like muscle pain, right? Tension, which was what was going on with me. Tension and some acid reflux caused by anxiety as well. Those are the two reasons I was dealing with my chest pain, but I thought it was a heart problem. So I put focus. So learn from me right here. Stop checking your vitals unless a doctor has instructed you. And if a doctor hasn't instructed you because you haven't seen a doctor, then go see a doctor. You have to do that. It's the only way to get the ball rolling. It's the only way to get this question answered. Don't play Dr. Google, okay? Or don't play doctor on Google. Stop self-diagnosing, okay? If you're checking your pulse like I was all throughout the day, it's just gonna keep beating fast, all right? If you've got something to check your blood pressure with, get rid of it. If you got an Apple Watch that you're constantly looking at, get rid of it. You gotta get away from that external reassurance and start telling yourself that you're healthy. That's called internal reassurance. You have to be able to tell your subconscious, tell yourself, I'm healthy, I don't need to check vitals because there's nothing wrong with me because I've been checked out. Okay, so this phase of my life is focus, focusing on the pain, the symptoms, making them worse, pouring gasoline on this anxiety, heart anxiety, cardiophobia fire, the symptom fire. I was fueling it, checking my vitals nonstop. The next thing, guys, is going to the doctor too much, going to the ER too much. All right, now let me be clear here, okay? Let me be crystal clear. You deserve that reassurance. Go to a specialist as fast as you can in the beginning. I'll repeat that for the people in the back. Go to a specialist as early as you can in this whole process. You know, go to your primary person, tell them about your problems. If they do a test on you, I guess if you accept you don't have any issues out after that, that's fine. But if you're watching this video, you probably got told that you're healthy, your EKG was fine, and then you kept on having symptoms and you're still worried. You need to get a referral to go see a specialist. Do whatever you can to do that because that's the next level reassurance that you deserve. Specialists have seen everything, okay? They're gonna look at your heart visually. They're gonna give you a stress test. They're probably gonna do some blood work. They're gonna do all that stuff, of course, in the EKG and all that. And they're gonna give you a better level of reassurance. If you need to see 2 specialists, then do it. But guys, that should be enough reassurance, in my opinion, for you to finally move on with acceptance. Now, is everybody going to move on after that? No, because they're in disbelief that anxiety can actually cause some of the chest pain that they're dealing with. But if they can see nothing visually, you're able to run, go through a stress test, and you're fine, then you got to start putting your faith into doctors. But the problem that I had was I just kept going to these little doctors or going to the ER over and over and over, just getting my basic blood work and my EKGs done before I got some really good concrete reassurance later on. Don't be like me. Get that good concrete reassurance from a specialist or two. Nothing wrong with a couple different opinions from the top guys, from the heart experts, right? Nothing wrong with that. But don't just keep going back to the ER over and over and over and over again if you've never been to a specialist first, at least. So get that reassurance. Guys, I'm telling you, the misery that I felt over these 2.5 years by not doing the right thing, for not seeing a specialist early enough, for putting it off months to even see a doctor, to Googling, to checking my vitals, it just led to constant symptoms. If I got any relief at all, it was whenever I was in a deep sleep, if I was lucky enough to fall asleep. It was hard for me to drive. I was afraid of having a heart attack on the road and killing myself or killing somebody else. It made it where I couldn't work because I couldn't drive. I was terrified of exercise. I was scared to get my vitals up. I didn't want to die right there in the gym or die at my house. I was so afraid of being alone because I was scared I was going to have a heart attack by myself and die. Everything was triggering. And then it was like, I do believe that I have some level of anxiety, but I feel like anxiety is damaging my heart. So there's that. I felt like, sure, maybe I am having some panic attacks, but I'm scared that my panic attack is going to trigger a heart attack. It was miserable. I remember just thinking like, wow, I could die at any moment. And cardiophobia, guys, and heart anxiety, and you know this because you're watching, it's scarier than just general health anxiety, I believe, because heart attacks, you feel like you can die just like that. Whereas if you have another disease or something, eventually you're going to find out, right? And you have maybe the capability of fighting it, right? Or having some longer time. I felt like I could at least say bye to my family, or, heart attacks, heart problems, heart failure, cardiac arrest, all that stuff. It was a nightmare to me. It was something that really freaked me out. It was like my worst fear. So it caused me so much suffering. And I could have done everything the right way. So my advice to you, if you are going through this, let's recap because you need to know this. You gotta write this down, do it, or just save this video. In the beginning, you need to go to a doctor, schedule that appointment, or go to the ER if you feel like you're having a heart attack, if you're having these symptoms. Because in the beginning, there's gonna be no way for you to distinguish. They're pretty much identical. They say with a heart attack, it's a little bit more persistent, more localized, and more intense. You really can't freaking breathe. Like you can't. They say it just hits different basically, like you're about to die. But at the same time, I felt that in certain situations as well. So it's hard to distinguish. It's best to go as fast as you can and get that reassurance. Again, take away from my mistake, I didn't, so guess what? My symptoms stuck around, my doubts stuck around, they intensified, then I started putting my focus in, so by the time I even made the damn appointment and went, the symptoms were gonna happen when I got home. And then I was gonna start thinking in my next phase, like I don't trust them, I don't believe them. So then it made it hard for me to accept. So don't be like me, all right? The next thing, guys, to take away from this, you gotta change your response to the symptoms if you're willing to accept. Say you did get some good reassurance and you did accept and you feel good with that, or you've seen a specialist, okay? You gotta change your response to the symptoms. You giving it the negative attention and energy, it's just gonna make it more intense, right? You're pouring gasoline on that symptom. So I actually challenged the symptom. I asked the symptom to get worse because it was anxiety and it confused my anxiety. And since I showed my subconscious that it wasn't a problem, it would actually make my chest pain go away. So that was a good indication that this was anxiety for me. I had to stop checking my vitals, okay? So don't check your vitals unless a doctor has told you to do it. All right? Anxiety makes your heart rate fast. My heart rate was anywhere from 100 to 180, resting and then having a panic attack. That's what it was like all throughout the day, like 100 to 180. If it dipped below that, I was in a deep sleep or first thing in the morning, and then it would jump up. My blood pressure was anywhere from 135 to 165, 175 over, 95 to 110 at all times. Super high. And I was 20 years old. And this is even after I cut out bad habits. So those were my vitals. That's what they were. And as long as I kept checking them, guess what I was doing? I was showing my subconscious that there was something wrong, that I was fearful of this, and I was scared. So guess what? The symptoms continued. So stop checking your vitals unless a professional has told you to check those vitals. The next thing, guys, is to see a specialist. Okay? You need to see a specialist as quickly as possible. Stop putting it off. You need that next level testing. It's one thing to get an EKG or a random one or two, or to get a little bit of blood work done. But I'm telling you, you want to get some answers from a specialist. Make sure that you've had your heart looked at, okay? Make sure that you've done a stress test, all right? Make sure that you get that. There probably isn't anything wrong, especially if you've been dealing with this for a long time, but you need to know for sure, right? So put your trust in the experts. Those are the top of the top. They've been doing it for a long time. They've seen so many people. They know what a heart problem looks like. You deserve to get it from them. If you need to see 2 specialists again, do it. So see a specialist, and see a specialist earlier than I did. The next thing, guys, is to cut out all things that are going to make you question your health. At least for this period of time, it's super important. It's going to be hard for you to accept that you don't have a heart problem if you're smoking every single day, or eating really bad, or not taking care of your health, or not getting enough sleep. You need to adjust your routine, your lifestyle to a healthy one so you can feel that you're healthier, right? You need to start exercising. You need to start making sure that you're eating healthy, okay? You make sure that you're getting the proper sleep. You're taking those vitamins that you need to take, and that you continuously work on your anxiety, to work on your happiness, to work on your positivity, to work on your self-love, to work on your root causes, okay? You have to be doing all of this to not only improve your anxiety, but to help you feel like you are healthier. Whenever I started to feel like I was healthier, it was easier for me to accept that I didn't have a heart problem. If I was putting good things in my body, I knew that my risk for heart disease was plummeting. If I was exercising and nothing was happening to me, right? I knew that my heart must be okay, that my heart must be healthy. And I went through that period of time where I was afraid of exercise. I didn't exercise aggressively, guys, for 2 to 2.5 years. Okay, and just quick disclaimer, this is why you need to go to a doctor first. Make sure that they have cleared you for exercise before you do it. But I'd been cleared so many times. And every time my heart rate would get up or my blood pressure would get up, I'd say, nope, I'm not doing that. I don't want to die. I don't want to have a heart attack. When I finally broke through that wall, when I had a panic attack and I went out and ran, that almost did more for me than even seeing a crap load of doctors. Just me doing that. So realize how important exercise is. I was finally able to say, like, look, if I had a heart problem, I would have died whenever I ran. That was huge for me. And exercise was like that final piece that I needed. Aggressive exercise. It was that final thing that I needed to finally just let go and to move forward. That's when the real fun began. So I had to stop Googling my symptoms, stop playing doctor. I had to get my initial reassurance from a doctor that I was not having a heart attack. I had to get some confirmation from a specialist through further, more advanced testing that there was nothing wrong structurally with my heart, that I could handle a stress test. I had to then start exercising, eventually moving into aggressive exercise to finally make myself believe that there was nothing wrong with my heart, consciously anyways. Subconsciously is a different story. Did I still get symptoms after that? Yeah. So that's where I had to stop putting my focus into symptoms. I had to change my reaction to my subconscious when I would have the symptoms. Instead of a negative, scared, message to my subconscious, I had to change that message and say, look, you can keep sending me the chest pain. I know I'm fine now. I'm fine. I would have died the other day when I ran. Like, I'm good. I've been told by a couple specialists that I'm fine. I've had tons of testing. I've dealt with this for years. I'm good. I would have had 2,000 heart attacks by now. I'm fine. I'm good. I had to change the response. So you have to do that consistently, even when you deal with symptoms. I had to stop checking my vitals. I had to stop checking the heart rate, checking my blood pressure, feeling around, looking for stuff. That was one of the final things that I was able to let go, because that just sends mixed signals to your subconscious. I'm trying to accept anxiety, then why am I checking the heart rate? Your subconscious is watching everything, okay? So once I was able to put all of that together, I was able to move past cardiophobia. And I still struggled with health anxiety for another 2.5 years, and it was still rough. I had a lot of other disease scares. But by far, cardiophobia and heart anxiety was the absolute worst. That was the absolute worst for me. So put the plan that I just gave you into action. Learn from the mistakes I just shared with you. Do it the right way, and you don't have to suffer from this for years. Okay? I'm telling you, the things that you are most reluctant to do in your anxiety journey are going to be the very things that set you free. Exercise was that for me. I was so scared of exercising. Who knew that that was going to be the final piece in me recovering from my cardiophobia? So if you made it this far, please go down below, and I want you to put in all caps, I will beat heart anxiety. I will beat heart anxiety. Guys, there's tons of resources down below as well. If you haven't gotten my course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp, it's about anxiety in general, not just the cardiophobia. It's how to slay this anxiety dragon the way that I did, because there was so much more to it than what even I described. That was just cardiophobia. I talk about the diet, the routine, the mindset that you need, that whole process. It's my blueprint on how I recovered from health anxiety. Talked about the panic attacks. I had panic disorder, multiple attacks a day. My generalized anxiety disorder, the crippling symptoms that I dealt with for 5 years. Overcoming anxiety was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but it is possible. You just gotta be consistent. You have to have the right strategy, the right routine. You gotta have the right mindset. And for most of you, it's gonna take a perspective change. You have to get excited about recovery. So this course is gonna help you with that, guys. So pick it up if you haven't. It's very, very affordable compared to most anxiety courses. A lot of ridiculous prices out there. I pack so much value for an affordable price, so check that out. So many other resources. Online therapy. You need to be going to therapy if you have anxiety as well. In addition to getting your testing and stuff from medical doctors, you need to be working on your psyche as well. So see a therapist or try the online therapy link I have in the description as well. You can do it on the phone, the laptop, the PC. There's a lot of other resources. My social medias are down there. Some Let's Get Checked testing for, I think, 3 tests that I think you should get pretty much covered if you deal with anxiety at all, to rule out those things. Vitamin testing, thyroid testing, and then hormone level testing. So that's gonna be down there as well with a promo. Please, again, like this video if you got value. I'm recording the back part of this in my office, so sorry for the echo and everything because my family got home a little earlier than I thought. But please like this video, guys, and subscribe if you're new here. I doubt you made it to the end if you're new. But do me a huge favor today if you are subscribed, and hit the bell, because I've been uploading every single day, as you can see. So please hit that bell. And until next time, guys, which will be tomorrow, keep fighting. I love you all.